Hey there, welcome to Authentically Raw. I'm your host, Jamie Darris. Hello, Lilly Beyond, and welcome to the Authentically Raw podcast. Lilly is a burnout prevention coach and so much more. So Lilly, I am going to allow you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Hi, Jamie. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me. So I run the Mental Fitness School. This is a project that has been in the making, to be honest, 7 years by now. So I started with coaching 7 years ago after being managing director in the startup world and seeing all those executive and visionaries and founders literally burning out by their own dreams. So this was really so true to my heart to have a place where it's not just about insight and seeing things differently, but where you actually practice and really work on your mental skills. Like it becomes easily as running up the stairs that you'll not get exhausted and then burn out by your own desires and their own aspirations. So this is my love turf where I love to play in. And I love our similarities with people pleasing and all these kind of things. So I feel like we have a lot to cover today. I love that.
Yeah, because it's all real stuff. I mean, there's, our personal life and our business life and our relationships. They're not all separate compartments. It's all interwoven. And I think I even just posted something a couple weeks ago about, business is personal. That phrase, business isn't personal or it can't be personal. That I totally 100% disagree with that. It is, because we're all humans and it should be personal, right?
Absolutely.
First off, you have a beautiful accent. So I want to back up just a little bit and tell me about where you live, where you're from, and a little bit of your background, because your accent's beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. So I'm originally Austrian, so in the heart of Europe, in Vienna, born and raised. And my husband and I, we met at the startup we worked on. So I was around the place. Like I used to work in New York with an art gallery. I started in Berlin. I used to work in Barcelona. So I'm a bit of cosmopolitan right there. But we worked for the startup platform. So we hosted a huge startup conference in the heart of Austria, kind of bringing even the word startup and entrepreneurial thinking to the continent. I feel like in the 2010s, it was really a rather new concept. Again, like you can start your own idea and you can create your own destiny. Like, what's that possible? And also bridging with the Iron Curtain. This was still also a very interesting time in our lives where we had a lot of collaboration with people from the eastern parts of Europe to really foster that entrepreneurial spirit and also this cross-border thinking, literally also in your brains, and cross-institutional thinking and stuff. And this is where we came about. And honestly, where I'm now, I'm based on the island of Cyprus in the Mediterranean. So I came around, like I used to live in Cape Town and in Tokyo, and Cyprus somehow feels our home away from home. So we settled here a year ago, and just living really this island dream. It was kind of on our timeline. We thought, hey, at some point we're gonna live on an island. But really last year we came here just on a weekend, and it was like, actually, are we talking about if we do it or when we do it? And this was so match made in heaven. It was like, okay, no, we're gonna do this now. Why wait until retirement if we can do it already now? And with this virtual business models and stuff, this is perfect. And even hosting events here, this is also something true to my heart. And the island has just such a beautiful vibe. And it's a very raw diamond, I would say, that's not so well known. And I love that about that too.
Well, every single place you listed, I'm like, oh, I've never been to any. Talk about a dream, right? On my bucket list. So many of those, and I'm going to have to look you up. But tell me, how did you come about? I want to, because I know that like the burnout prevention coach is big, but also, you call it the mental fitness school. So tell me like what came first, how it started, how they're interwoven. Just tell me all about this. I'm really curious.
So it starts with burnout prevention. So this was really my go-to thing after being through it for a couple of times myself, to be honest, like really coming from the startup environment. So, I mean, I was in my upbringing, I was honestly, I think, a very emotional kid, always quite connected to my feelings and my desires, and really always wanted to come from the heart. really through education and all the things, like from what society teaches us and how business and scholar system has to work. This was really kind of punched out of me, to be honest. And once I was then in the startup world, where it was like, yes, we are building dreams and we want to find solutions, but still it felt so empty, like almost really like an empty shell, and we have to perform something. And I mean, the startup scene had also its ups and downs, right? Where with empty promises and these kind of things. And I was feeling that so hard, and it felt so empty inside. We were really accomplished on paper, but so empty inside. And this is also something that I went through a couple of times, to be honest, and really with overworking and overperforming, trying to match up to some kind of standards that are out there, some artificial things someone made up, or not even made up. It's just some assumptions that we have that we never really challenged. And this was really something where I felt so drawn to, like, hey, we cannot go on like this. Yes, we need technological advancements in our world to succeed and deal with certain environmental challenges and stuff. So this is what we did on stage. But I always feel like we need this mental evolution and revolution too, to be actually, to also enjoy and even make it there, so we don't die before that, in a sense. And like almost even enjoying the success and the life that we build. I think this, I also call myself guilty of that. Like, how can you really have that routines with yourself that you can actually also rest for a moment and smell the flowers and enjoy the sunset and really enjoy also the fruit of your labor without guilt, and just being that kind of presence between past and future and bridging those. So this is kind of where it really came to me, starting with burnout prevention. And it really shifted to mental fitness, honestly, only quite recently in the past year. It really came to me. I was working with positive intelligence. So my framework, where I like to work with, stems out of this Stanford University research work that they did. And I'm also in the process of being certified with positive intelligence. And the mental fitness aspect was, for me, really almost the glue that holds it all together. Because, I mean, I've been coaching now for 7 years. So right after we sold the company, I was managing director, 150 people, multi-million-dollar budgets and stuff. So all the big things. And I was desiring working with people one-on-one and really helping, especially women in leading positions. And I mean, women in the tech scene were also not quite big back then. So also that's kind of, really helping women achieve their dreams and really go after those little nudges and not having to bargain with health or family or love life. And then how do you can really have the perfect mix that you want to achieve. And this mental fitness aspect of, yes, you want the inside, but honestly, for real change, that's just 20% of the equation. You need those other 80% of mental muscle building to catch yourself in the moment, when your kid is crying, when you're in a stressful meeting, when you're on a deadline. How do you perform then? And how do you catch yourself in those moments and redirect and redirect and redirect? And this is what was really my answer now. Like, hey, this is the thing I've been trying to articulate for all these years. And now I have kind of the language for that. Like, it is mental fitness. How do you stay on for yourself and can challenge your own thinking and become the owner of your own emotional experience by really training this mental muscles? It's literally rewiring your brain. So on MRI scans, it literally lights up different brain areas. When you're in fear state, when you're doubting, it's totally different brain areas, whether when you are in compassion, curiosity, playfulness. You can measure that on brain scans even. And this is the rewiring process we desperately need to make all these insight, all these practice stick and fruitful.
Right. Oh, you touched on so much. Just so the combination between, the burnout and the mental fitness. And so many people, I think of burnout as just that physical burnout. I mean, because we do feel it. There absolutely is that physical side of it. Just the feelings of exhaustion, or, could just be like that, the doubt, the anxiety, just all of that stuff coming in. But with the mental side of it, so many people think, oh, I'm burnt out. I just need to rest. I just need to relax. And then, like you said, it is tough to rest and relax when all of a sudden there's that guilt that comes in, and you talked even about like the overworking and the overperforming, but you're still feeling, I jotted this down because I loved this line. You said, accomplished on paper and empty inside. And I feel like there's both sides of it, because a lot of people, they get to that spot, they're accomplished on paper, empty inside. But then you even touched on, the flip side of that. And I even thought of just like, the working mom, for instance, juggling so many different things. You've got a deadline, you've got, the kids and all these different relationships, the activities of your family. And then, what about your own interests? And it's just, a lot of times you feel like you're spinning your wheels, you're not getting anywhere, and you feel underaccomplished. So it's that both thing is if you look at your life, that doubter, I almost like to call it like that double-minded of I'm accomplished, I'm not accomplished. You know what I mean? Because does all of that kind of make sense? But it does to me, because then that's where the mental fitness comes into it. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be a mom that works outside of the home. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be a mom, but just women in general. The burnout and the mental fitness and just living your everyday life, the overworking, overperforming. Am I accomplished? Am I not accomplished? I'm accomplished on paper, I'm empty inside, or I'm still empty inside. I don't feel like I'm accomplished. There's so much there.
Yes. Oh my God, I get goosebumps when you talk like that. The thing is, I think what's really so mind-blowing, what really come to me also with last year when we made that decision to move to the island, we made that literally in 40 days. So we came here on the weekend, like on day 3, we were already like, okay, we're doing this, right? Like we pulled the timeline closer. We said, hey, why don't come here again in summer and just explore and check it out a little. At one point, we pulled it so close. My husband came in and was like, do we even want to fly back, or we want to do that prototyping right away? And it's like, no, we're gonna fly home. We're gonna make all the clean cuts, sell out our stuff, return our apartment, like clean slate, and then move here. So why wait? And the point was exactly what you mentioned. You should not switch filters in between. And I feel like maybe that is really the thing, when you feel you're achieving a lot, but you don't make it count. If you switch filters in between, or you switch kind of the parameter or the theme in between.
Right.
I just had a conversation this morning with my sister. She went to school actually in Austria for primary school. And it was a very nasty summer weather-wise. It was not a really warm, it was raining a lot, and they're living by the lake. And yesterday literally was the first day they were allowed to, or they were able to go out with the boat on the lake and had the first real summer day. And it's freaking end of August now, and in 2 weeks the school starts again. And she also said she had major anxiety, like it can't be possible. Like, why am I so anxious now about summer being over, school starting, and they're building a house right next to it and stuff. Like, you gotta stay on the filter you started the day with. You have to run that process through. That model needs to finish. And how do you feel then? Because you are building a house right now. You put the boat to the water and had a wonderful day in the water, despite all the rainy season. It's like when you switch the parameters, and almost like having this carrot in front of you and moving the goalpost almost all the time. I feel like this is what's so annoying to ourselves, and we have to call ourselves out on that. Like, hey, we have to finish those loops and finish those success loops. Yeah. And train that. We have to train that. Like, there is a cool trick and practice, if you don't mind mentioning it. Like, we have to train those success loops, even in the smallest things. It's like, hey, in the morning, hey, I want to brush my teeth, and I'm doing it. Brushing your teeth, complete. Having those little endorphin rush complete in the tiniest tasks. I'm setting out to get a cup of coffee, pushing the button, and I'm doing it. Boom. Yeah. Like retraining your nervous system almost to, I can have those success cycles closed. I'm setting out to do something, and I allow myself to complete it. Setting it out and allow myself to complete it. Or the small things, training that again, like the body needs to feel that again. Like, how does it even feel to complete that loop? Oh, cool. That's actually quite nice.
Right. And I think it keeps you present as well, because you're focused on just what you're doing, and you're not not that we can't think ahead, because we should, there are things, but I feel like so many of us, we do constantly live ahead. Like even just, your sister, enjoy that day. I'm guilty of that too. I feel that. I mean, I live in Michigan. Just talking about the weather and this and that. My kids, 2 of my kids went back to school today. And this, to me, I'm like, no, this is summer. And I start to get that, like, I always call it that impending doom, like wash over me. I'm like, no, this means the end of summer. This means clouds. This means rain, cold, snow. Like, I can't do it. And it's like, stop. I mean, I like that you thought of that. I mean, I set the alarm early this morning. I got up, I worked out, but it's those little things like do your workout, drink your cup of coffee. Just like the sun is shining today. Enjoy this sun. Look out the window. Just stop going ahead, because so many of the things that we go ahead for is those doom or those gloom. It's that mindset shift that is more negative than positive. And I think those little wins, those little goals, it resets that nervous system, resets the mind, and you can stay in there. I loved it when you said, the switching the filters. That's a good one. It's a good little reminder of just asking yourself, what's my filter right now? What am I seeing my world through in the moment? I like that.
Yes. I actually didn't finish that, right, when I mentioned that with the moving, because people kept asking us, like, are you really going to do that? And like 40 days, like, how is this even possible? And for me, it was like, no, I'm logging in that filter, like almost like your Instagram filters. You can be black and white, or you can be in Technicolor. The thing will look totally different if you switch filters in between. Makes total sense. Yeah. It's really up to us to say, like, no, I commit to that filter. I'm commit to enjoy the summer, enjoy the time we have, be right here, and not think of comparing it to past summers or like thinking of all the things we missed. Like, no, stay in that filter, and then it will feel complete. Right. The switching is what's honestly really exhausting, which makes total sense.
It is. That's a lot of mental energy on the switching. And just doubt, the one word doubt is just what keeps creeping up, because, you start to listen to those outside voices. What, really? You're going to do that? You're going to move? You're going to quit this job? You're going to sell that? Anything you do in life, if you really think that, if you are determined and it's like, it's your vision, it's your dream, it's your goals, when you switch out your filter for everyone else's filter, all that stuff coming in, all the doubt sets in, all of the what ifs, and not that we can't take those things into consideration in life. There are things to take into consideration, but when you stick with that mindset of this is what I want, this is what I can do. I mean, there's people, if you just want to say, like, with living places, there's people living all over the world and it's working. Why can't it work for you? It's other people's fears, really. And then we create our own based on, really other people's fears and doubt, just doubt and fear, those 2 words.
Your mind thinks it all has to grab on everything with just one hand. It's like, okay, I have to fix that with that hand. I have to hold on to that. Like, remember that, like, I have to, like, all the things are piling up in one kind of hand. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what we train in mental fitness school, it's like, hey, you have this other hand, you have this whole other brain area that can help you, that can take off stuff your plate. You can do other things with the other hand. Like, it totally doubles your capacity to switch things around, to do things differently. Mm-hmm. Or this other image of, okay, maybe there are 2 party crowds in one house party, for example, and there's one party room with those nasty people are like, oh, just disappointed, nagging, gossiping. So it just has a weird vibe in this room. And there's this other room where people are dancing, having inspiring conversations, hanging out, having a good time. And you get to choose which room you're in. What? Yes. You get to choose. And this is really the hardest thing we have to remind. Because the core training of the mental fitness training is 6-week kind of skill building of coming to the threshold, deciding again, coming to the threshold and deciding again. This practice, it sounds so basic, but really remembering that you get to choose how you want to see things. And this is the main thing. And coming back to the threshold and seeing like, this is how it looks like in this gossipy that room, and this is the fun room, and this is the exciting where things flow differently, and it's inspiring, and you get inspired to do things differently. So I think the main misconception about the whole practice, it's not just about like your Zen, mindful, peaceful,
right,
basic, like balanced stillness. It's not just stillness. One of the tools, being in, so we call it sage brain. Yeah, so I have saboteur brain and sage brain, and being in the sage, it's laser focused, it's very active almost. You're learning, you're visualizing, you're creating things. It's almost really like this, fluid water down the stream. It's very active, and it's bubbly even, or like fluids, expansive. And I feel like also cleaning up that misconception, it can be very productive, very productive.
right.
It's not just this mindful, like watch the sunset, for a moment. I had that misconception the longest time, like watch the damn sunset, meditate for 5 minutes, but then as soon as you get back to work, you again like boom, close down in your hustle mode, shoulders down, head down, neck cramped, and you're back into your little hamster wheel. No. How do you transfer that and activate now that flow in your day? And the main thing how we do that is literally with those little sensory breaks. I'm doing it right now with your fingertips.
Oh, I'm going to try it.
Rubbing your fingertips and trying to feel almost the ridges of your fingers. Direct your attention like the porch or the, your lights towards that. And
right.
Trying to feel that for a moment. And we're training that. This is your signal to your brain. I'm going back to the threshold, and I can decide. This is really your signal, the thing we're training, this anchor we're setting, that you get to choose. You get to choose. Breath. And we're doing how many thousand breaths a day, but having this conscious deep breath. Oh, we're doing it unintentionally. Our body wants us to do this anyway. But we get to do it also intentionally.
When you talk about the breath, it reminds me, I don't even remember what I was listening to the other day, but I've thought about it so much and how so many of us live in a lack mindset. And if you really think, if you just think about abundance, like there's enough of everything to go around this world. And it is our own mindset when we get trapped in this lack of everything. And they used breath as an example. You never inhale, or you never like inhale and exhale, and through your exhale think, oh my gosh, where's that next inhale coming from? Where's that next breath? You just expect it. Like it's coming. And we just do it all day long. And that is another one of those things why it's so important to concentrate on your breath, and that knowing when I inhale and exhale, there's another one coming. It's always there. And it also said how women especially are shallow breathers. And I found that kind of interesting. And I know I've been working on a lot of breath work lately, and I noticed, it was about a year ago, I noticed when I really started doing it, I noticed how much I was holding my breath. Like I would hold my breath, and it's just interesting, why do I do that? What am I like? What is that? Like that built up. But even the breath work has helped me slow down. And when you talk about being productive and things like that, and I've really been trying to remind myself lately how much more productive I am when I slow down and give myself those breaks, instead of that constant like go. I mean, some of the phrases that I used to say years ago, I just cringe now. Like this is one of them. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Or it's like, no, that mentality of, if I'm not constantly being productive, if I'm not doing something, accomplishing something, achieving, like go, whether it's just housework or errands or organizing. I mean, it can just be like your basic things. If I'm not doing something, you're just like, you're worthless, right? You're lazy. And we might not have that exact script going through our head. but subconsciously it's there because I look at so many people. You can't just relax, and how you are more productive when you can slow down and breathe and just reset that mindset and be in that flow. Because so many times when you are constant go, 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 you're really not creating, innovating, and doing what you're setting out to do. I mean, I definitely noticed that.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
I love how you say that. That's so for me, it was like this, because I had really a hard time, especially when I was facing those burnouts and stuff. Or when I talk to clients now, this slowing down, this sounds so counterintuitive. Like,
I know.
How do you get it done?
I think part of it too, though, is when you slow down and you just take a second and breathe, or even get up. For me, it's like just get outside, go for a walk. I mean, I have all my brilliant ideas, and I've written 1,000 books in my head when I am out walking or running or in the shower. It's because you're kind of cut off from all of that stuff, and everything can naturally come into you and flow out of you. But so often it's like we chain ourselves to stuff. It's so ingrained. I got to keep going. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do. Right. So tell me, I'm a little curious. When you talk about your burnout, what led up to it? What did it feel like? I mean, when were you finally like, it's enough, I've got to do some changes? Tell me about what that was for you.
I love to, the first one, let's talk like that.
Oh no.
Playing with the word burnout prevention too. It's like, it's very delicate, because like, I feel like it's for this repeated, like not again, prevent your next burnout. Because the first one, I think you rather will have to face. Sounds hard, but it's so hard to prevent really your first one, because you will push so hard until your body pulls the plug, literally. Like I literally collapsed on the floor of our 500-year-old imperial palace in front of billionaires, because I was physically like, nothing worked anymore. It was my husband's 30th birthday. We had a huge event planned, like a whole birthday party, and I literally could not move anymore. Like my body was freezing. I was like not working anymore. It was really a physical shutdown. So I had to reach that state apparently to really reevaluate things and reconsider, like, okay, like, yeah, when the body doesn't get the chance to get its way, we'll get it eventually. Yeah. So this is maybe the biggest thing I can.
Your body was basically like, okay, I've been trying to tell you and you're not listening, so I'll just completely shut down. And it happens to a lot of people. I mean, I even just think about whether it's just a common cold, or I mean, we associate everything to a virus or bacteria or this or that, but I think there are so many things that, of course, it's out there, but like our immune systems are so weak. There's autoimmune diseases and chronic pain, panic attacks, like, just all of this stuff that we can prevent, but we ignore it. We ignore what our bodies are trying to tell us and just try to keep going.
This is really one of my biggest lies, what you said, cringeworthy. Like my body, I can recall it now. Like, well, how was it? I can trust my body. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
I can't even articulate it right now because that doesn't sound true anymore, but it was so real. I can't trust my body. It's like it's doing whatever it wants. Like there's this life of its own. I have a chronic headache now for over 10 years, like literally every day still. But the thing is, I want to manage it. I'm not a victim to it anymore.
Right.
I'm sure this is kind of a post-burnout thing still I deal with, but I really learned to love it and then accept it as almost like a little alarm system or guidance system. Like, okay, when does it flare out, and when are those triggers? And I really learned to see it as my companion and my guardian, almost like, hey, it's there to protect me, even because I still have that running horse energy in me, yeah, but my body's just need something else sometimes. And then having that like almost like a bit rebuilding that partnership and that relationship. This was really, I think, one of the biggest things for this whole burnout recovery journey, almost like learning to understand the cues again. And then what does your body actually want to tell you? And
yeah,
I mean, like I said in the beginning, like growing up, I felt quite intuitive and quite emotionally connected, but it was totally erased kind of from my, because it doesn't have any space. It didn't fit in to what people wanted from me and stuff. So
I love that you mentioned a headache, because just even as something as simple as that, I picture so many people, oh, I have a headache. I'm going to just quick, pop some ibuprofen and keep powering through. So it could be something as simple as drink a glass of water, right? Because a lot of people, when we're dehydrated, it could be, oh, I need more sleep, or, I'm eating too much sugar. I mean, there's so many simple things that your body is trying to tell you, but we just want to quick get rid of it. Just want to mask it with something so I can just keep going, because I can't let this headache interfere. I've got, things to do, people to see, and blah, blah, blah. And we power through, but a lot of it is just simple things. And when you stop and you pause and maybe get some more rest or drink that glass of water, how does that affect your life? And I think we're always thinking it has to be these big, huge changes. And love that you had already said that so much of this stuff is just small, basic things. And just taking care of ourselves. And when we do that, then what transpires out of that are huge, great things out of us. I mean, I just think of that, of how many times we, as a child, you say you're quite intuitive, and you have all these emotions and things. And I think as children, we all are. And as we grow, we start to ignore that stuff and we start to listen to everything outside of us. And our bodies will tell us, hey, pay attention to me, whether it's headaches, stomach aches, neck, shoulder, we all have our stuff. And what is it trying to tell me?
For me, for sure, the headache is like pressure. I'm having so much pressure on myself. And I know it has some generational stuff with my mom and stuff. And I know for sure there are things there. So I'm definitely down for any physical ache, especially chronic things, have some kind of energetic meta meaning. Body language literally is a different language. It's not words in that sense. We have to, almost, if you're living with your Spanish student kind of in a shared room,
right,
you have to learn to articulate with them and then find a language basis with them. It takes time, and this is unfortunately the thing we don't want to give it, and until we reach that point and we have it, so we can really dedicate it and get that practice. But I think what really was mind-blowing, we think it needs so much time, we've spent it 30-40 years not listening to it, and we think it might take as long to get to know it, but no, it can happen so much faster. Yes, it might take a couple of weeks or months, but you will catch up again. And we heal so much faster than we give ourselves credit for. Our bodies are self-healing machines if we let it.
Yes.
And if we, also with our judgment, our guilt, and what we said in the beginning, right? If we get out of the way, our bodies can heal so much faster. We just step away and let it do its job.
And with the mindset, and you talk about rewiring your brain. I feel so many people don't even know the words that we are speaking to ourselves. It's ingrained so deep, and it's not even, there's that part of it, but sometimes it's not even the actual physical words. It's this programming inside, through our emotions and our feelings. And it is a language. It's a body language. There's more than just the spoken language. And even think of how we stand, how we sit. Are we hunched over? What is this telling us about ourselves?
Are we leaning forward or leaning backwards? This is the signals. There's also this body feedback stuff. I'm not an expert in that, but there are so many cues if we learn to see it. And
where do you see people burning out the most? And what's a good first step for someone?
I think we need to be so intentional with our own language, because it literally becomes our things. If you tell yourself, I'm busy, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time, of course you don't have time. Like at this moment, I was at a Tony Robbins event, 2018. It was one of the last physical events back then, and 15,000 people, no bathroom breaks, like boom, 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 15-hour days and stuff. And I knew I have to get as fast over there to come back to not miss anything. Or like Simon Sinek says with the skiing down the slopes and then through the forest, if people ski down, they don't see tree. You say curve. Yeah, where are those loops? And I was also like, okay, where's the loops? Smooth. I was really gliding through it like lava down the mountain. Yeah, it was really this. You want to be intentional. You can't say yes. If you say, hey, I'm busy, I have many things going on. Many things are progressing right now. It totally feels different already. Yes, you might say it like it's just linguistics and semantics, but literally those things have a emotional reaction to you. The body reacts to things. And you're constantly saying, hey, I'm burning out. I'm so burned out. Of course you're burning out. If you say, hey, it's just a lot is happening right now, already it's a little different. So how else can you word it? And step by step, coming over to a place. It's really, that's about the wording of burning out, because I think you can say you're burning out, but I mean, if you're really burnt out, nothing else works, and you cannot even talk at this point. So,
well, it takes a lot of mental and emotional energy, and when you're constantly speaking that, you're just feeding it. I mean, I even thought of saying, I have a very full life, but then looking at my life and saying, okay, but I think there's a lot of non-essential things that I could take off if I get to that point where I feel like it's just overflowing and bubbling to the point where I'm feeling burnout. Well, what are the non-essentials? And if you really look at your life, we pile a lot on.
Yeah, so true. So what you said before, like what's one of the main reasons when people don't see any other way? Again, coming to the hand metaphor, if you only think like, I have only this one hand, I mean, people maybe only have one hand. I'm apologizing if this metaphor doesn't work, but for most of us, we think we only have this one hand we can do stuff with, and it's the only way, and this is the only way I can get my job done, and the only way how I can make it through the day, and how I can talk to this person, and how I can make my family survive, and this is the only way. This is, I think, recipe for madness and breakdown for sure.
Right.
Not allowing, hey, how else can it go? How else can it go? What's another one? What's another way? Like if it's hard, I think it's maybe the most important thing. Whenever you feel like, hey, this is hard, this is just your signal that there is another way. There is another way. How else could this go now?
Right.
Who can I call? How else? If I really don't feel like doing this right now, could I postpone? What can I do to myself? How can I deep breaths, quick stretch, quick dance break to a cool song? What can you do to lift your energy to make it through that meeting, or to get through that day still, or to have that conversation?
Yeah, and I think just even asking yourself a few questions, if it's, oh my gosh, this is so hard and blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, what can I do to make it easier? Yes. And just keep asking yourself, well, what else can I do? What else can I do? You know, there's always something.
Permission for follow-up questions. This is so true. I do a lot of like intuitive conversations with my clients too. And there's also, I think, one of the biggest permissions we have to give ourselves. We are allowed, like small kids asking like, why is the sky blue? Why? We are allowed to ask follow-up questions like, okay, what else? What now? Okay, what now? What else could be good now? What else?
Right.
I think this is draining because we experienced maybe that when we have to look at kids who are that nagging. But we are allowed to be that kid in that point and just ask like, hey, what else? And see what comes. And you just experience it. You have to experience that to see the magic working. Yeah.
Definitely. I agree. So if I am burnout, what would be 3 quick tips in the moment that you can give our listeners to just help ground themselves? I know we kind of did this finger thing, but yeah, maybe what are like some top 3, even for you, if you're in the moment and you all of a sudden you're just, okay, it's getting to be too much. What is something you can do just to ground yourself in the moment?
Yeah, so good. So step 1 for sure, watch your own language. Like really, if it's just like, I got this, I got this, I got this, I got this. I love these little repetitive, you can call it mantra, affirmation, whatever, but really this little sentences you can even out loud tell yourself, hey, I got this, I got this, I got this.
Yeah.
This literally, just try it, like repeat it 10 times and then see how you feel, how you really feel, what this does to you.
I love that. I got this. Yeah.
This is really just a quick fix, yeah, just to make it through the next half an hour, maybe. But I mean, the asking for help. I mean, you talked about that, right, with the people pleasing and stuff. How hard it is.
But you even said like I like the with the fingers. So you're basically just rubbing the tips of your fingers together. Yes. And is this more of a calming thing? Does this, like, what does this do in our brain?
Yeah, great question. So this literally brings us to the now, to really that, because when we are also in this burnout or in this saboteur mode, we are either too far in the future or too far in the past. For sure not in the now. We think we are in the now, like you have to get this done now, but no, you're not. You're trying to escape something or reach something that's not there yet. So really rubbing your fingertips, this is something your brain doesn't get. Your brain can't conceptualize this. This is really something. Or also interesting is like doing it for the other finger to really mess with your brain even more. Like you totally get it out of its own dialogue. It's
hard to do, actually. When you try to rub I'm just trying to rub my 2 pointer fingers together. I feel like it's like that tap your head and rub your belly or whatever that is. I'm like, I'm not very good at that.
It's really those little interruptions.
Yeah. And
really tell yourself, hey, I get to choose again. Like again, this is the one hand, so at least there is another way.
Yeah. You mentioned the word escape, and I like that because I feel like so much of this crazy, like I got to overwork myself. I constantly have to be productive. I started to ask myself that question. What are you trying to escape? Because most of us, we're trying to escape some sort of feeling. And it's an untrue feeling. It's, if I'm not doing something, then I'm not worthy. Okay. Am I trying to escape feelings of unworthiness? Because what? If I don't do X, Y, Z today, I'm not worthy. Well, that's not true. Right? I mean, it is. It's just kind of simplifying things down. Like, really, is that true? If you don't get that done, you're unworthy? No, I'm inherently worthy because I was born, right? If that's what it takes to really kind of ground yourself and bring yourself back, but just even, putting your fingers together, it brings you back to that now. And maybe that's the question. What am I trying to escape by just constantly doing, I like that. So those are 2 great ones. I got this, rubbing our fingers together, and, I think just bringing us back to the now. We did talk about a little bit of the breathing. I love that. Just taking those few minutes to, and when you get that oxygen to your brain, it really helps too, right? And what else? Is there something else that...
So I think like for the moment, so when you're really you're facing a day, and I had a couple of burnout clients that then said, I mean, you realize you need help when it's too late. This is for sure. Yeah. Fact. So the thing is, okay, something is going down right now. It's really up to you if it's a crash or if it's a landing. Also like, hey, okay, something is about to happen right now, but it's still in your control how it's going down.
I like that.
Like, hey, okay, these next 2 weeks, it's most probably 2 to max 4 weeks, something's literally changing if you're really in that state. Yeah. Like, okay, do I want this to crash right now, or do I still allow myself as soft as possible landing in that sense? And what would that support? How can I talk to my spouse about it? Or how can I get myself into who can I talk to? I think this is really like, where is someone? And if it's your future self, please, I love making your future self your best mentor. I mean, this is one of the biggest tools we have. Have that conversation with your future self. Like, hey, how else can we do that? How else can we do that?
Yeah. I like that.
This gives you the
yeah. And I think having those analogies for yourself is very helpful. Like whatever works for you. And I just like that. It's like, I think of a plane. You're coming in, a smooth landing, or are you always just barreling down? Like, how do you want to be? How do you want to present yourself? And make that decision up, though, in your mindset. This is how I want to be. Right here, right now. I want to be peaceful. I want to listen to my emotions. I want to respond to them. I want to be present. I want to feel productive without feeling like, I'm over my own shoulder cracking the whip. I want to feel good about what I'm doing and let things flow in and through me. I mean, it's all wonderful. So you have your own podcast. Tell us where we can find you and all the good stuff. I will put it in the show notes as well, but throw out your website, your podcast and things like that for us.
Cool. Yeah, happy to. So mentalfitnessschool.com, my website, is freshly launched. Please take a look and take a walk around. There you find all the infos about me and my programs, and also my podcast, Rewired and Inspired, the Mental Fitness School podcast. It's more like a little workbook still. So I make more like really micro essences from coaching sessions I had. It's German and English. So if you're bilingual, please enjoy that too. Awesome. And I hang out a lot on Instagram at Lilly Beyond, Lilly with double L.
Yeah, your Instagram page is beautiful. It's just really pretty. I love it. Yeah, definitely. Well, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much. I already feel more peaceful and at ease because it's these little reminders of what's floating through my head right now is that analogy all the time. The plane coming in, smooth landing. I don't need to crash and burn just even every night at the end of the day, right? I don't want to feel like that. It's like these smooth landings and just, grounding yourself, rubbing your fingertips together, wherever you are. That's so easy. And the deep breaths and just telling ourselves, I got this. Yes. I got this, right?
I know it is so easy. Yes.
Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much, Lilly. And I think, we'll have to have another chat again soon because I'm going to reach out when I am burnt out and be like, hey, this is what I'm feeling. Let's do a pod and we can throw it on both of our podcasts and look, real life, we're feeling burnout. Here's what we got to do, right? Let's tackle this. Because it's real. It's real. So yeah.
Amy, I love it. We're doing this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to Authentically Raw. I'd love to hear from you. Shoot me an email, jamie@jamiebarris.com, and let me know what episodes resonate with you and why. Are you a people pleaser? If so, I need your help. Please, I'm writing a book about people pleasing titled The People Pleaser's Guide to Pissing People Off to improve your relationships, especially the one you have with yourself. And I'm looking for personal stories of how people pleasing has impacted your life. Or suck the life out of you. Maybe people-pleasing has held you back, caused you to feel resent, regret, anger, powerlessness, or just plain exhaustion. Let me know how it's impacted your life. Who knows, maybe your story will inspire my writing and grace the pages in some shape or form in this handy-dandy little guide. Also, if you enjoy the Authentically Raw content, please support the show by following and leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. Simply scroll down through the episodes and you will see where to do so. Want to learn more about life coaching? Head over to my website, jamiebarris.com, and check it out. You can also follow me on social media at Jamie Barris for lots of inspiration and empowerment. One last thing, I'm rooting for you. Be real, be raw, be authentic.